I'm Mark Gibbs with the Great Outdoors Nursery, and I wanted to pass on something we stumbled across years ago. I was talking about plants that flowered white, but also plants that have silver foliage, because those items, if it's white and it's flowering at night, it's very reflective in moonlight. That's one benefit. But also silver foliage sort of gives you that same sort of reflective time. So in a good moonlit night, silver foliage sort of has this great little iridescent glow to it. So as I was finishing that up with Channel 7 one morning, one of the hosts used to always ask me, is that deer proof? And we stumbled across this little amazing tidbit. And if you've run into deer issues and you've wondered how to get around some of that, we found out that a lot of the silver plants, one of the bulletproof things that most of these plants have in common, any plants that have a great odor and a really rough leaf texture tend to be things the deer steer away from. But on the side note, we discovered that if it's got silver foliage, they have those two things in common typically. They've got that scent, they've got that funky foliage texture, and so they have those things in their benefit. One of the other things to pay attention to is a lot of the silver plants, whether it's a shrub or a perennial, they're gonna want some sunshine. So don't try to cheat and use these in too shady of a spot. You're not gonna have as good of a response as you would in a full sun area. So I've just got a little minor palette out here. Obviously, this isn't everything. Now, I do want to point out Ponyfoot Dichondra has not been successful, even though it's silver and it's got a funky texture. It still doesn't have much of a bouquet to it, so the deer are attracted to that. So don't go that route if you're wanting a silver. But the herbs, one of my favorites, the lavenders, almost all of the lavenders have a great silver coloration. You're going to get multiple styles in the bloom cycle. The Spanish is here, the fern leaf, stunning blue bloom on that. The Spanish is a nice purple bloom, great butterfly plant. Any of the rosemaries, multiple flavors in rosemary. Again, not as silvery, but definitely scent and texture. Any of the sage bushes, compact sage, there's Desperado, there's Sierra Bouquet, there's Green Cloud, all sorts of great flavors out there. But that silver, again, great for evergreen shrub. Santolina, there's a green Santolina and a gray Santolina. Like to point out both, but the gray just has a great texture and very, very drought tolerant. We tend to overwater them in the containers here. Jerusalem sage is spectacular. They're blooming right now. It's just a brilliant, stunning yellow flower cycle, typically perennial, so this may go to sleep for you in the winters. Then Russian sage, great blue flower spike on the Russian sage. Another incredibly hardy guy out there and will bloom all summer long. Artemisia, not typically known for the bloom cycle, fruitland sage, but great, great scent to this, wonderful texture, very drought tolerant, and a really nice bouquet when this guy does go into flower. Lamb's ear, super for borders, again, great texture. It is a biennial, so you get 2 years before mama goes, but she's gonna have lots of pups underneath there. Great border plant or a container plant. And then the mullein, this is a stunning one. You'll see these out in the hill country now natively. Puts on a rather sizable yellow spike. Gorgeous, gorgeous, just for foliar alone. Just stunning, stunning plant. Mexican bush sage, killer, killer one. Great for butterflies again. This one's fun because there is a Santa Barbara variety out there now, which is more compact. So you're gonna get a little bit shorter of a plant. You could almost use it as a border if you've got a higher tier for your front border. So again, that's just barely a smidgen of what's out there that's silver for perennials. If you like the shrubs going on and things, you can do the pineapple guava. It's a killer, killer one. Incredible flower cycle, great little fruit, evergreen shrub, sizable bush as well. Nandinas will work as a shrub, very, very deer proof, and fun one there because there are multiple colors coming out that give you some great foliar pop in the fall season. And then the little dwarf European olive. This is a tight little bush. It does have silver to the back of that leaf, but a killer little shrub, evergreen, very, very drought tolerant. Laura petalum, not a native, but been in the zone a while. Does come in multiple sizes, but again, that purple leaf, great contrast with anything silver in the landscape. And then you jump over to some other perennials. The Copper Canyon daisy is awesome. The anise is great. Damianita is stunning. Upright germander, skullcap, bicolor sage, anything in the sages, anything in the salvia gregae, anything in the lantanas. I don't show those as often because some of these guys are a little more fun to use on the palate when it comes to color and flavor. The Betony, Texas Betony is an awesome one. And then even the bergamot over here has a really spicy scent to it. So if you have any questions on these guys, please come into the nursery and ask us. I know we threw a whole lot out there, but I wanted to get these in there because if you've been confused on that palette and you need some help, silver is a way to go. We do have a little trifold handout you can look at. It's got a pretty extensive list, and we always joke around about the fact that deer don't read this, so they're not going to know. Another great little tip that's out there, these plants come from the growers on a vegetative state. They've been fertilized a lot, they've been pushed a lot. Once they've been in the ground for about 6 to 8 weeks and we've put them on our natural water systems, that raises the alkalinity of the plants also. So something that may not be showing deer-proof capacity at the very beginning, it could even be a lantana, they've munched on it. It's still a vegetative cycle. The leaf hasn't hardened off, it hasn't matured, it hasn't gotten our water system in it yet. So that's going to help them also change up and get a little hardier. But the trifold has quite an extensive list of different styles of plants, perennials, shrubs, ground covers, vines, things like that that we really didn't tap on. But if you have any questions, please check with us at the Great Outdoors. We'd be glad to help you out.